welcome everyone to Legal Matters, an informational and news call-in show devoted to legal topics of interest to State Line viewers. I'm your host, Alan Jones, and with me now is attorney Michael Crosby with the Crosby Law Firm. We have attorneys standing by right now to take your call at the number on your screen. That's 815-397-2006. They'll provide you with free information on your issue. The call is confidential, so pick up the phone now and call the Crosby Law Firm throughout the next hour. Again, that number is 815-397-2006. In our opening statement, we'll be discussing bankruptcy and house foreclosure issues. In the second segment, we'll continue our popular You Want to Know question and answer session devoted to questions posed by you, the viewer, by way of telephone calls and social media. Again, the number 815-397-2006. Lawyers are standing by right now to take your confidential call. But before we get started, please note the Crosby Law Firm represents thousands of individuals just like you. Just as local hospitals handle a multitude of health care issues, the Crosby Law Firm can help you with a multitude of legal care matters as well. So please pick up the phone and call 815-397-2006. Now, the Crosby Law Firm has a Center for Divorce and Family Law, an injury department, which includes, but not limited to, auto and motorcycle accidents, as well as slip and fall, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability matters. There's also a Bankruptcy Institute, an office for DUI, traffic and criminal defense, an advanced care plan and probate center, and a division for real estate, business matters, and more. So again, please feel free to call and discuss any of these practice areas with the attorney standing by. That number again is 815-397-2006. Lawyers are standing by right now to take your call, which is free and confidential. And hello, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, Alan. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it.
Absolutely.
We were talking about Donald Trump and his campaign, and the last time we met, you were discussing his bankruptcies, the numerous bankruptcies that Donald Trump has gone through, and he's not the only one that has dealt with this kind of thing. So let's talk about home and debt issues for the homeowner, for the average guy, a little bit. When a client meets you regarding these kind of issues, what do you tell them?
Good question, Alan. After our last show, when we commented about the 4 corporate bankruptcies that Donald Trump had been involved with, we received a ton of inquiries about bankruptcy. Now, most of the work that we do is for individuals, so these are typically Chapter 7 bankruptcies or Chapter 13 bankruptcies, which pertain to individuals as opposed to corporations. Many of the folks that come in and see me are concerned about a house foreclosure, or perhaps they're 2 or 3 months behind in their house payment and they're not in foreclosure yet, but it's around the corner. Or perhaps the value of their house is less than the mortgage amount that they owe. And that's commonly referred to as being upside down. So when a person comes in and chats with me about these issues, the threshold question that I ask is, do you, Mr. Client, want to keep your home long term, or are you looking to walk away from the home, walk away from the debt, and get a fresh start? So my analysis starts with, do you want to keep your home or not keep your home, and then we move from there.
Okay, so we'll start with one scenario, the family who's upside down in the house. They want to walk away, they want to clear everything. So what do you say?
I say first, don't despair. There is hope for you out there, and I'd encourage you to give us a call. If you're behind in your house payment, or if you're upside down, meaning the value of the house is far less than what you owe on it, we're able to be proactive on your behalf to manage the situation to your benefit and that of your family. In many cases, we're able to have you not make a house payment and still stay in your home for upwards of a year, perhaps even 2 years. It gives the family a chance to catch their breath, sort things out, figure out what they want to do. So don't despair. You're not going to have to move out of your house right away. You're going to have plenty of time to, quote, get organized, take a deep breath, sort out what you want to do, and think of the benefit to these folks, Alan. If they're behind in their house payment, or if they're upside down, they want to walk away from it. If we're able to successfully manage that with a defense in their foreclosure, or perhaps through a bankruptcy, where they're not making any house payment, and they're able to stay in their home for 1 year, 2 years, that's a significant savings for these folks, giving them a chance to get reoriented and sort out what they want. And we're able to do that if we effectively, proactively manage the situation. So don't despair, folks. If you've got those kind of issues, if you're upside down on your house, or if you're behind in the payments, please give us a call. We're in a position to help and to help your family as well. All within the law, managing your case to protect you and your family. Very important.
Okay. And again, that number to call is 815-397-2006. So let's jump ahead to the other scenario. The individual who'd like to keep his house and just needs to restructure his debt. How do you talk to him about that?
To those folks that want to keep their home, typically they're current on their payment and they may have some equity in their home, but they have a lot of other debt. So they want to keep their house, but they want to get rid of the other debt. That's typically what we call a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, where we develop a plan that will let them either not pay any of their unsecured credit card debt, medical debt, so forth, or to pay a very small percentage, and at the same time keep their house. So again, as I said at the outset, the threshold question, do you want to keep your house and the debt that goes with your house, or do you want to get rid of the house and the debt that went with the house? That's how we first look at it. So there's hope both ways. Chapter 7 bankruptcy and a foreclosure defense for those that want to walk away from the home, a Chapter 13 bankruptcy for those that want to keep their home but get rid of all their other debt. So again, I encourage you to give us a call. The number's on the screen. Be happy to help you with any of these issues. So many of the people calling us now may not be in a foreclosure, but they're upside down. They owe a lot more in their house than what the house is worth. And those folks are saying, you know, I don't think it's worth keeping the house. I want to walk away, but how do I do it? It might also be what we call a short sale, where we can organize the sale of the home for less than what's owed on it and still minimize the homeowner's responsibility or liability for any of the leftover debt or the deficit debt.
Okay. And if anyone has any questions, be sure and call Crosby Law Firm. Again, that number, 815-397-2006. Stay tuned for our rapid fire You Want to Know question and answer segment coming up after a break. Welcome back, everyone. It's time for our rapid fire question and answer segment called You Want to Know. In an effort to protect viewer confidentiality, please understand we only use first names. We may alter the location and the nature of questions somewhat. I'd like to remind you that lawyers are standing by to take your call no matter what the topic right now. So pick up the phone. That number to call, 815-397-2006. Well, Michael, here's our first question. Coming from Mark in Boone County. I've watched the Legal Matters show for some time now and continue to hear about flat fees. Can you tell me a little more about flat fees and why they're better than the hourly fees charged by most lawyers?
Sure. I hope Mark has enjoyed the show and his family's enjoyed it. And we do talk a number of times on the show about flat fees. The traditional way that most lawyers charge for the professional services that they render is to charge by the hour. If you charge by the hour, it's difficult for the client to budget what the expenses should be. In our office about 5 to 10 years ago, we moved away from hourly charges and moved to a flat fee, which we believe is more client-friendly. It enables the client to know where they stand from the get-go. There are, quote, no hidden costs. They know what to expect. So on virtually all the work that we do, except our personal injury work, which is where we work on a contingency fee, and we only get paid if we recover money for the victim of an accident. All the other work that we do virtually is done on a flat fee. So we're able to diagnose the case with the client in what we call a free consultation, and that's why we encourage you to call. We'll answer your questions over the phone, schedule, if necessary, a free consultation. Once that's concluded and we've analyzed and diagnosed the case, we're able to come up with a budget for the client on a flat fee. And for those that are not able to pay the entire flat fee up front, we'll be happy to sit down and have you meet with our accounting department to arrange a payment plan that's conducive for your particular cash flow requirements. So payment plans, flat fees, we do a lot of it. It really does distinguish us from many of the law firms in town who continue the old tradition of charging by the hour. So good question from Mark.
And a good budget for the individual as well.
Absolutely.
Second question from Dave in Rockton. Recently driving northbound on I-90, witnessed a serious accident between a semi-truck and a car. And I'm sure someone either died or was seriously injured. Does the Crosby Law Firm handle car and truck accident cases? How can the law firm assist the victim or the family?
Good question again. A substantial portion of our practice, Alan, is devoted to auto accidents, semi-truck accidents, motorcycle accidents. Over the years, we've secured judgments and settlements for clients well into the millions of dollar range, as well as smaller settlements as well. We have a substantial personal injury department with experienced lawyers that have taken cases to trial and have secured significant judgments. We've had cases involving I-90 truck and car accidents before, and we do a lot of that work in our office. So I'd encourage the viewer out there, if you knew who was involved in that accident, encourage them to give us a call. It sounds like a very serious accident. Hopefully no lost life, hopefully no paralysis. But if somebody's been seriously injured, or even if it's a minor injury, please give us a call. A lot of our practice is devoted to personal injury work. And again, remember, on these kinds of cases, we don't get paid unless we recover for you. And we've been doing it for 35 years. So we got a lot of experience, know the local community. A ton of our practice is devoted to that kind of work.
Okay. And the number to call, of course, 815-397-2006. Our next question comes from Susan in Rockford. She says, my son recently broke up with his girlfriend of 5 years. They had a child, and they have purchased a home together. She says, I miss seeing my granddaughter. My son has moved out of the house and in with me. We are overwhelmed with issues, as can be expected. What can they do?
I would first commend Susan for being there for her son during a very difficult situation. I would characterize this kind of case as a paternity case because her son and his girlfriend were not married. So when they break up, it's not a divorce case. It's a paternity case to establish that he's the father of his daughter and what his rights are as the father and what the mother's rights are as the mother. That's a paternity case. She's also indicated that she's been involved with her granddaughter a lot. That's a grandparent right issue. And grandparents in our state do have some rights. Some of those derive from her daughter, and some will derive immediately to her. So any viewer out there who has these issues, whether you're in a marriage that's ending in a divorce, or whether we're talking about a boyfriend, girlfriend that have broken up, or there's children or property involved, you purchased a home together, please give us a call. We do a lot of paternity work. We do a lot of divorce work. We'll be happy to take a look at the case and see what we can't do to help you problem solve.
Okay. Mary in Winnebago writes, my husband and I hope to buy our first home. We're working with a real estate agent who seems helpful. However, the purchase is the largest financial obligation of our life. An attorney seems to be a good idea there.
It kind of gets back to our opening segment when we were talking about house foreclosures, short sales, etc. When people buy a home, it's typically the most significant investment of their life and the most significant debt obligation of their life. By all means, they should retain a lawyer to help them with the purchase of the home so that they know what they're getting into from the get-go. A real estate broker can help. You must have a lawyer as well.
All right. Thanks for that advice, Michael. That's all the time we have for the Crosby Law Firm. We'll be back with information on the American Law Firm in just a moment.